China's new AI just crushed GPT 4.5. No gunfire, no tanks. But this war is fiercer than ever, raging in the heart of global data centers. While the West debates safe artificial intelligence and incremental updates to GPT 4.5, China has made a move that has left Silicon Valley stunned. A brand new AI model with superior capabilities, not only in performance, but also in speed, cost, and practical integration. In just a few months, leaked benchmarks revealed something astonishing. China is no longer playing catch-up. Across multiple fronts like natural language processing, programming, mathematics, and even image analysis, new models like ERNIE 5.0 and DeepSeek Vision 2 from China are directly threatening GPT 4.5's dominance. Not just for chatbots or search engines, China is weaponizing AI, turning it into a geopolitical pillar, a foundation for smart healthcare, universal education, and even future defense systems. And more crucially, it's not just technology, it's strategy. While the US grapples with internal pressures over content moderation, algorithm transparency, and AI ethics risks, China is playing an entirely different game: speed, scale, and top-down unity. Are we witnessing a second Sputnik moment, but this time in the world of AI? Join Top 10 Discoveries official to unlock the door to the silent yet intensifying tech war unfolding by the hour. When OpenAI unveiled GPT 4.5 with tenfold the computational power of GPT-4 and enhanced emotional intelligence, many believed the West had once again solidified its lead in the AI race. But just weeks later, China played 3 consecutive cards: Alibaba's Qwen 2.5 Max, DeepSeek AI's DeepSeek V3, and Shanghai AI Laboratories' Intern LM2. Not mere copies of Western models, these carry distinct ambitions and architectures designed to optimize both language capabilities and programming, logical reasoning, and industrial applications. Qwen 2.5 Max, the boundary breaker in programming and reasoning. Launched in late January 2025, Qwen 2.5 Max is tailored for high reasoning tasks and advanced programming. On rankings like MMLU Pro, GPQA Diamond, and Live Code Bench, benchmarks demanding complex reasoning and sophisticated coding, Qwen 2.5 Max surpassed GPT-4, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and Llama 3.1 400B. While direct comparisons with GPT 4.5 are lacking, its consistent top rankings in benchmarks, where even GPT 4.0 fell short, signal a clear breakthrough. Qwen 2.5 Max's practical applications lie in enterprise programming, writing production-ready code, full stack, and multi-domain text analysis, from finance and law to pharmaceuticals. In Chinese enterprises, rapidly adopting LLMs across supply chains, this technology is no longer experimental, but integrated directly into ERP, CRM, and internal chatbot systems. DeepSeek V3, open-source powerhouse with high performance, low cost. If any model threatens GPT's economic structure, it's DeepSeek V3. Boasting 671 billion parameters, nearly double GPT-4's estimated 320 billion, and surpassing Llama 3.1405 billion. It was trained on 14.8 trillion tokens. What's remarkable is not just its scale, but its openness. DeepSeek V3 is fully open source and free for commercial use. While GPT 4.5 remains a proprietary black box, DeepSeek V3 is a tool any business, from Singapore to Sao Paulo, can retrain and integrate into their infrastructure. In specialized programming tests like Codeforces and Aider Polyglot, DeepSeek V3 even outperformed GPT 4.0, a version already closing the gap with GPT 4.5. Its true strength lies in operational efficiency, optimized to run smoothly on cheaper GPUs with lower energy consumption, saving Chinese businesses millions in infrastructure costs annually. This isn't just a technical edge, it's an economic advantage that could reshape the entire AI application market. Intern LM2, balancing speed, cost, and semantic applications, crafted by Shanghai AI Laboratory. Intern LM2 doesn't chase parameter counts but focuses on practical capabilities. Long-form dialogue, multilingual processing, and stability in multi-user environments. With token generation 35% faster than GPT 4.0, Intern LM2 is being applied in online learning platforms, real-time translation systems, and government virtual assistants. Its standout feature is optimization for China's domestic ecosystem. Seamless compatibility with Chinese chips like Huawei's Ascend and superior accuracy in Chinese language processing, a priority for local businesses. In essence, this is a native chat GPT, independent of OpenAI or NVIDIA. While GPT 4.5 is seen as the West's current pinnacle, China doesn't counter with a single model, but a strategic array, each targeting a niche, from low-cost open-source, DeepSeek, high-end programming, Qwen, to large-scale government and enterprise applications, Intern LM2. This isn't just a benchmark race, it's a battle for ecosystem dominance. If OpenAI keeps its cards close and China continues its onslaught with impressive numbers, the global AI power balance could tilt eastward faster than we think. If headlines alone dazzle, it's easy to be overwhelmed by China's AI development speed. But behind the buzz, the real question is, where do Chinese AI models stand compared to GPT 4.5, OpenAI's most advanced language model to date? Qwen 2.5, Max Alibaba's flagship, has scored impressively on key benchmarks like MMLU Pro Deep Knowledge, Live Code Bench Programming Skills, Live Bench General AI capabilities, and GPQA Diamond Multi-Layered Reasoning. Notably, on MMLU Pro, Qwen 2.5 Max outperformed GPT-4 by 3 to 5%, showing robustness in academic tests. In Live Code Bench, the toughest programming benchmark, Qwen demonstrated standout speed and accuracy, especially in real-world coding tasks. On GPQA-Diamond, a high-complexity reasoning test, Qwen excelled in fields like logical mathematics and advanced physics. While direct comparisons with GPT 4.5 are absent, OpenAI hasn't fully disclosed its benchmarks. Qwen 2.5 Max shows immense potential for both commercial and research applications. Meanwhile, with 671 billion parameters and training on over 14.8 trillion tokens, DeepSeek V3 is among the largest open-source models globally. Compared to GPT-40, it outperformed in tests like Codeforces and Aider Polyglot, particularly in multilingual processing and competitive programming. DeepSeek V3's edge lies in efficient operation with modest hardware. Per its claims, it requires just 16 A100 GPUs to match GPT-4's performance, offering clear economic benefits for small and medium enterprises. Some debates around DeepSeek, like hallucination issues, where it claims to be ChatGPT, may stem from complex training data or extended open-source inputs. Yet with transparency in model architecture and free commercial access, DeepSeek remains highly regarded by the community. The US, with OpenAI and Microsoft, remains the global hub for AI integration. GPT 4.5, though lacking detailed benchmarks, is lauded for natural interaction, response speed, and high accuracy in systems like ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, and Bing AI. However, high usage costs, proprietary models, and limited customization for commercial goals are pushing users, especially in emerging markets, toward Chinese models. If AI models are the engines of the future, China is proving it's not just building engines, it's assembling the machinery to run society. Across fields from healthcare to finance, energy, and education, models like Qwen 2.5, DeepSeek V3, and ERNIE 4.5 are no longer lab experiments, they're operational infrastructure. In healthcare, Baidu's ERNIE 4.5 has been deployed in over 20 top-tier Chinese hospitals, aiding medical record analysis, image diagnostics, and real-time treatment consultation. Per Baidu, applying AI to early lung cancer screening reduced diagnostic errors by 37%, while cutting healthcare system costs by over 20%. At $0.55 per million tokens, nearly 18 times cheaper than GPT-4, turbo, ERNIE offers unmatched economic efficiency for urban and rural healthcare markets. In finance, DeepSeek V3 is integrated into risk analysis and investment advisory systems at domestic securities firms like Guotai Junan and Huatai Securities. With multi-layered contextual understanding and large-scale data synthesis, it slashes market report generation from hours to under 15 minutes. Moreover, with training on 14.8 trillion tokens and 671 billion parameters, surpassing many Western models, DeepSeek opens opportunities for AI in emerging financial markets with optimized infrastructure costs. In education, Alibaba's Qwen 2.5 has been piloted in over 300 schools via personalized AI learning platforms. Beyond answering questions, it analyzes weaknesses and suggests tailored learning methods per student, boosting learning efficiency by 22% over traditional teaching, per a Zhejiang province project. In energy and industry, models like ERNIE and DeepSeek support real-time data analysis in power plants and automated production lines. Per Power China, integrating ERNIE into load forecasting systems cut energy waste by 12% and improved outage prediction accuracy to 95%. Strategically, China isn't just applying AI domestically, but aims to export these platforms as part of the digital Silk Road. Qwen 2.5 and ERNIE have been introduced to partners in Southeast Asia and the Middle East, where low-cost, multilingual integration and optimized performance are strategic advantages. While the US leads in general-purpose models, China is carving a distinct path, optimized for specific applications, mass-deployable, ultra-low-cost, and deeply integrated into critical economic sectors. This isn't just a race for smarts. It's about making AI indispensable to daily life. If the 20th century was shaped by nuclear weapons and oil, the 21st century is being rewritten by data and artificial intelligence. In this new game, China isn't just catching up. It's quietly building a closed, self-reliant, and increasingly sanction-proof AI ecosystem. This demands US attention, not just technologically, but strategically. One of China's most significant advances is localizing three core AI platform layers: chips, cloud, and algorithms. On chips, amid US restrictions on exporting high-performance GPUs like NVIDIA's A100 and H100, China has accelerated domestic GPU development. Huawei's Ascend 910B achieves FP16 computing performance of 320 teraflop OPS, nearing NVIDIA's A100. Baidu's Kunlun 2, a 7-nanometer AI chip designed for large model inference, powers ERNIE's infrastructure. On cloud, Chinese firms like Alibaba Cloud, Baidu Cloud, and Tencent Cloud have deployed petascale super data centers capable of training 100 billion parameter models, independent of US infrastructure. Alibaba claims it trained Qwen 2.5 entirely on domestic GPUs, cutting costs by 40% compared to A100s. On algorithms, China holds over 70% of global AI patents, per Stanford AI Index 2025, and is rapidly building open-source models like DeepSeek V3 with 671 billion parameters, surpassing many US equivalents in scale and commercial potential. The US bet on chip export bans to slow China's progress, but reality shows these barriers limits. While NVIDIA's H100 is barred from China, firms like Baidu and Huawei still train massive AI models with homegrown hardware at increasingly lower costs. Far from stifling, restrictions are spurring greater self-reliance. China is ramping up SMIC investments, building independent 5-nanometer production lines, developing domestic HBM, and advancing energy-efficient training, parameter-efficient training. The US is facing a truth. Blocking chips no longer means blocking AI. Beyond this, China isn't just developing AI as a tool. It's embedding it into the nation's operational fabric. In government, models like ERNIE support text processing, citizen responses, and public administration automation in over 50 provincial cities. In education, Qwen has been tested as a teaching assistant in thousands of public schools, personalizing lessons, assessing knowledge, and tracking student progress. In military and security, models like DeepSeek and ERNIE are integrated into UAV control, surveillance video analysis, and early warning systems, per RAND reports in PLA Daily. This isn't just application, it's a strategy for national information sovereignty. When China declares AI as infrastructure like electricity and railways, it implies every sector, from manufacturing to societal governance, will depend on artificial intelligence, and the nation controlling models, infrastructure, and supply chains will control the world's operating logic. For the US, the concern isn't just that Chinese AI might be stronger, it's that it could be cheaper, faster, and spread globally first. Especially in developing nations, where a 100B parameter model on domestic chips costs a tenth of GPT 4.5 on US infrastructure, China is building a de-Americanized AI generation, immune to sanctions. China is accelerating, but more striking, the US and West, despite their lead, seem to be stalling, or tying their own hands with internal constraints. As Chinese AI models launch and integrate deeply into state ecosystems, Western tech giants remain in preparation mode. The question arises, is the safety-first strategy slowing them in a race with no pit stops? OpenAI, long-term bets without decisive moves. OpenAI, the West's AI flag-bearer, is developing GPT-5, but hasn't announced an official release timeline. Per CEO Sam Altman, GPT-5 will reshape human-world interaction, but as of May 2025, users are still limited to GPT 4.5 and GPT 4.0. Meanwhile, Chinese models like Qwen 2.5 and DeepSeek V3 consistently deliver high performance in real-world benchmarks, released as commercial or open-source products. This raises questions about OpenAI's cautious growth strategy, especially when the AI developer community demands stronger, cheaper, faster tools, exactly what China is providing. When Google introduced Gemini 1.5, hopes were high for breaking OpenAI's monopoly. Yet per independent reviews from Stanford, CRFM, and LMSWise, Gemini struggles with code processing, long context retention, and logical problem solving, especially compared to GPT-4 or even Anthropic's Claude 3 Opus. Moreover, Google hasn't launched high-end Gemini models in China or much of Asia, while models like Alibaba's Qwen are directly integrated into local service platforms, from e-commerce and payments to digital governance. Meanwhile, Anthropic unveiled Claude 3 Sonnet and Claude 3 Opus, outperforming GPT-4 in some tests, particularly in language and natural responses. However, Claude's deployment is limited by high costs and a lack of broad integration strategies. Compared to China, where models like DeepSeek V3 are trained entirely on domestic infrastructure and licensed for commercialization in over 20 provinces, Claude's real-world presence remains faint. A key difference between China and the US is the level of control and development direction. While China's government pushes firms to rapidly integrate AI into education, digital governance, and industrial production, the US is allocating significant resources to building legal frameworks, prioritizing safety first. Previously, President Biden signed an executive order requiring large model vetting before release, mandating companies to disclose risks and safeguards. While commendable for tech ethics, this creates clear delays in model launch and deployment, precisely when rivals are maximizing their time advantage. The AI race between China and the West has transcended technical limits. It's no longer about which model is smarter, but a clash of two tech ecosystems, two radically different approaches to globalizing AI. In China, models like Qwen 2.5, DeepSeek V3, and ERNIE Turbo are not just research tools but are becoming national infrastructure pillars. They're trained on domestic data, run on domestic chips, hosted on domestic clouds, and directly integrated into social services, education, and government platforms. Meanwhile, the West debates AI ethics, censorship limits, and executive orders. China has quietly built a closed, intelligent supply chain. From localizing algorithms and hardware to popularizing open-source models, Beijing is aiming higher. AI not just for domestic use, but for exporting global influence. Conversely, Western firms, despite leading in theory and resources, face pressures from their own legal systems and societal expectations, stunting the breakout speed they once had. In a race where technology shifts monthly, one step behind could mean a decade lost. What do you think about the future of global AI? Can China take the lead? Is the US falling behind? Leave a comment, and if you find this race compelling, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest tech analyses. Top 10 Discoveries Official will return with more astonishing discoveries, monumental projects, and untold stories from around the world. Goodbye and see you again.